me ask you a question. Has anything ever happened to you that you couldn't explain? That made you feel sort of foolish when you tried to tell somebody about it? Well, if it has, you have plenty of company, as you'll soon see.
For the wives of Hollywood's top plastic surgeons.
Yeah, but even the shape of your face has changed.
No, it has not. I've had no plastic surgery on my face.
Have you noticed the trend that Hollywood celebrities, and when I say celebrities, I also mean politicians, because they kind of go hand in hand. I always said when you're introduced to your double, run, because when they introduce you to your double, it's your days or even months away from being totally replaced by it. Where's the real Taylor Swift? When I saw her fake coming out, I was like, whoa, where's Taylor? You notice the newer one? Because I was screaming about this years ago. Because it was the new one that bought this penthouse in New York. She's a little bit shorter than the normal Taylor. She's got the more heart-shaped face. She wears the really, really red, bright red lipstick. That's not the real Taylor. So where is the real Taylor? What do they do with the real ones? You know, they pull out these clones all the time of Brad Pitt, and they're always 30 years younger than he is. And nobody says anything? Nobody notices? I mean, I've always been a Brad Pitt is gorgeous kind of person. I just always thought he was so gorgeous. But you know what? As he's gotten older, he's at least 56 years old. And they keep pulling out these 30-year-old Brad Pitts. You know, like they do Obama. They always show you the 30-year-old, fun-loving, carefree Obama. Hardly ever does the real 50-year-old one come out. When do they let the real ones out? You think? They ever do? Because what I'm noticing is that they're, especially lately, I guess I caught on with the Miley replacement. Because they come out with trannies. And then they replace the human celebrity with a tranny. That they're using tranny doubles. I don't know, and then look what happens. Like Brett Favre, the guy retired when he was like 70 years old from the NFL. I mean, he was old. He's one of the oldest quarterbacks ever to retire. And now you see him in shaving commercials, and he's like 30 years old. The replacement Favre is out. I've told you the story about the Kardashians. Back in 2008, they were given a reality show, and they bring them in, and they bribe you with money and your own little show and fame and fortune, and then they won't release another season unless you sign the dotted line. Well, the three girls refused to sign the dotted line, sell their soul to the devil, and join the Illuminati, and so they were killed, and they were replaced by fake synths. And so now you always see these lookalikes and fakes and doubles taking over the roles of the three older girls. And so now they're on their 100th Kim Kardashian, because the one they've been showing photos of all week long are not her. It's not the one that was playing her a month ago. Eric Trump was on, what show is that, Sean Hannity? And he made a comment that was funny. He said that the Democrats aren't human. The Democrats aren't even people. And if people knew how real that statement is. Because, you know, the trolls, the libtards, get on fire with that one because Eric Trump is a registered Democrat. And he's lashing out against the Democrats, saying they're not people. Well, they're not. And I've been screaming that for how many years? They're lizards. People think it's a conspiracy. It's in your face, folks. Do you really think Nancy Pelosi's human? Dianne Feinstein? Half of the Democrats in Congress? They're not human. And let's not limit it to the Democrats, because the Republicans aren't either. You know, we've got a mixture of aliens hosting human bodies. They soul sculpt the human. They take the human soul out of it, and they take over the body. They reanimate the body. And that's why they start to look more and more like them as they get older. They take on the lizard features or the gray features Those are the two dominant ones taking over humans. There's the lizards and the grays. And I'll tell you how you can tell them apart because of the features. Now, if it's a lizard, like Joe Biden, George Bush Jr., Hillary Clinton, well, she's gone. Her double's just, take whatever double you're looking at the moment. Let's see. Nancy's a gray. She looks like a gray to me. Feinstein looks like a lizard. You could tell they have the snake eyes and the lizard tongues. Like if you were to tape them on TV and then put it in slow motion to watch their lizard tongue slither in and out. And they've always got this infatuation going on with their tongue. If you see people on TV licking their lips a lot, you know, who does that? There's lots of ways you can tell the lizards. The grays, the perfect example is Trump's daughter, Tiffany. She looks like a total gray. They have that almond-shaped face, the big eyes, and the small chin. And you'll see that bug eye feature. Nancy Pelosi does it all the time. The huge bug eyes. There was a couple clones of Hillary Clinton's that had those bug eyes. Because the snakes, the lizards have the slit eyes. They look like snake eyes. And then the grays have the big bug eyes, so it's one contrast to the other. And so they have those small chins, and the big cheeks, and the big eyes. The one that replaced, what's her name? The tall country singer. Let me think of her name. Somebody give me, let me go check the chat room. Maybe somebody has it on there. Taylor Swift. That's it. She was replaced. And her replacement looks like a gray. The heart-shaped face, oval shape. Yep. Nobody even noticed that. But you know what? When she moved to New York several years ago, I said, that's not the real Taylor. And that's when the double or look-alike or replacement, whatever you want to call her, took over Taylor Swift, was when she moved to New York. Because they liked city life. So, and it was obviously not her. Her face was totally shaped different. She had this thing for that really bright red lipstick. She was shorter than the original Taylor. Got a different shaped face. She's more of a heart-shaped face. Just a different Taylor Swift. And so, you know, they've been swapping out humans for years, folks. You know, I said it back in, 2010, 2012, if you see your replacement run, especially with politicians, because as soon as you sign the dotted line and they started doing the soul scalping thing, total replacement agenda, they were bringing in the replacements so they could learn to mimic you and stuff. And it's easy for them to put your brains in replacements because it's like this sounds like science fiction, but that's why you know what's going on, because no one believes it. They can download everything about your brain. Practically, they put it on a hard drive and then upload it to somebody else's brain. That's what they can do. I mean, what do you think Bill Gates is now? Bill Gates has been dead for several years. And he was one of Satan's favorites. And they have no mercy. So, you know, they can swap humans out. And if they get a dead human, they can reanimate it. It can take a human body that's dead, and within 24, 48 hours, they can reanimate it and put an alien host in it, or a demon, to make that body come back alive and reanimate it. When it's not as gross as the zombie thing. I'm not talking about zombies, because that's what demons do. But they can do it to where you don't even know the person died. I don't know how they did it. Maybe they have to do it within a day or somehow with someone dying. I don't know. I just know they can do it. They were killing all the white people in UK and replacing their souls with animals. So the person's dead, the soul is gone, but their body's being kept alive by something else. You know what a perfect example of that is? And people are going to get mad when I say this, but, you know, it is what it is. People that have been born with cerebral palsy and some of these brain injury deaths from infants, a lot of those children died in the womb or died at birth, and they're just reanimated by demons, and that's what took over their body and lives in those bodies. And so, you know, that's a perfect way of saying how they can reanimate, take over a human body, and that human body is still alive and still functioning. You know, they're replacing those people with whatevers. I don't know what they're putting in them. Alien hosts and some even animals. She's so desperate to just kill off all the white people over there that they'll put animals in human bodies. And she doesn't want caught. That's why the body doesn't die. That's why the body stays alive. And they just switch out the souls. If you ever saw that show, Scooby-Doo, they show soul scalping and soul transference, where they take a soul out of one person's soul, jumps into somebody else's body. They have a YouTube online of the Scooby-Doo movie that showed that soul transference. That's what they're doing, soul transference. So that's, you know, and I've warned Europe or Ireland and Scotland, they better close off their borders and break away from the UK, or she's going to destroy your countries as well. You know, the immigrants coming in isn't going to get any better over there. It was designed. I've seen that coming for 15 years, 20 years, and I warned people that Europe was going to be destroyed by the Muslims, and it's here, it's going on. It's never going to get back to normal. I mean, if you're white and you're in Europe, you're in trouble. You're being targeted because they hate the white people. They hate the white race. So anyway, just another warning to the UK. Anybody with sanity left there to get out. Don't come to America because it's going to get worse here. And Canada is getting just as destroyed. They're working on that, as the UK is. They're letting all the Muslims in over there. Muslims and all races. Canada has open borders right now. So you even have the Mexicans, illegal Mexicans, coming through America and going up through Canada to get away from ICE in America that will hound them down and send them back to Mexico. So they're going to Canada. So Canada's going to be destroyed. Somebody has to pay for all this, and so you end up with bankruptcy and debt, and then you end up with culture clashes and culture wars. Not a lot of time. Get back with the Lord, get off the fences. You don't want to be backslidden and riding fences, and, you know, a foot with God and a foot somewhere else means you don't have a foot with God. You can't be one with Him and one somewhere else. You have to have both feet in with Him. You don't try God. You build a relationship with Him. I'm not saying get into religion. It's not about religion. Remember, it was the religious people, the religiosos, the top religious of the day, who condemned Yeshua and had him hung on the cross. Okay? The religiosos. They're always wrong. Build a relationship with the Father. Get out of church doctrines. They're all wrong. They worship a different Jesus.